The storm raged outside, lightning slicing through the sky like shattered glass. Inside the grand estate of the DeLuca family, the night shift had ended hours ago. Most of the servants had gone home. Only Elena, a young maid of 19, stayed behind, finishing her chores in silence. She lived in a small, dimly lit room tucked away in the servants' quarters, a place that smelled faintly of detergent and lavender soap. It was supposed to be an ordinary night, but destiny had other plans. When she pushed open her door, humming softly to herself, she froze. Her breath hitched. Some man, was slumped against her bed, bleeding. Chapter 1. The Stranger in the Shadows. Elena's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst. The stranger's shirt was torn, his chest streaked with blood. A gun lay loosely in his hand, glinting under the flickering bulb. She wanted to scream, to run, but something in his face stopped her. He looked lost, pale, weak, and in pain. Against every instinct, she knelt beside him, her trembling fingers brushing his cheek. His skin burned with fever. "Sir, can you hear me?" she whispered. No response, only a faint, ragged breath. Elena's thoughts raced. If she called for help, the guards would throw him out, or worse, kill him. But if she did nothing, he'd die right here, in her room. She bit her lip, grabbed her first aid kit, and whispered, "Please don't die on me, stranger." She tore a bedsheet into strips, cleaned the wound with shaking hands, and stitched the gash as best she could. He groaned once but didn't open his eyes. By dawn, the bleeding had stopped. Chapter 2. A Dangerous Awakening. When he finally woke, his eyes snapped open, sharp, gray, and piercing. The kind of eyes that had seen too much of the world. Elena gasped and stumbled backward. "Where am I?" His voice was low, dangerous. In my room," she stammered. "You were hurt." I just helped." He sat up slowly, wincing in pain. His gaze swept across the room, calculating, cold. "You shouldn't have." Elena frowned, confusion clouding her fear. "You're welcome," she said softly, her sarcasm barely audible. He looked at her for a long moment before muttering, "You have no idea who I am." "No," she admitted, crossing her arms. "And I don't care. You're hurt. That's all I needed to know." For the first time in a long while, something flickered in his expression, a hint of surprise. Then he gave her a name. Luca. But it wasn't his real one. The man in her room was Luca Romano, known in the underworld as the Ghost of Verona, the most feared Mafia boss in the country. No one ever saw him twice and lived to tell about it. Yet here he was, hiding in the room of a maid who didn't even know his name carried terror across cities. Chapter 3. Between Fear and Trust. Days passed. Elena kept Luca's presence secret, sneaking him food, changing his bandages, and pretending all was normal. She didn't understand why she felt compelled to help him. Maybe it was the loneliness in his eyes, or the way he flinched when thunder struck, like a child haunted by memories. He tried to push her away. "You shouldn't be near me," he'd say. "I bring danger." But she only smiled softly. "Then let danger come. I'm not afraid of kindness." Her words disarmed him more than any weapon could. Luca, who'd built an empire on fear, found himself speechless before a girl who had nothing but courage and compassion. At night, she'd tell him about her dreams, how she wanted to study medicine, how she worked as a maid to save money for college. He'd listen silently, the warmth of her voice softening the edges of his hardened soul. And one night, as rain pattered against the window, he finally spoke of his past. Of betrayal, of losing his family, to violence, of why he became the man everyone feared. Elena didn't pity him, she simply whispered, "You don't have to stay that man forever." Chapter 4. The World Finds Them. Peace never lasts in the world of the Mafia. One morning, shouts erupted outside. The estate was surrounded, armed men in black suits searching every room. Luca's enemies had found him. He rose, wincing from his half-healed wounds, and grabbed his gun. "They've come for me. Stay out of sight." Elena stood firm, her voice shaking. "If you go out there, you'll die." He smiled bitterly. "Then maybe it's time." But when he opened the door, one of the guards spotted her. A gunshot echoed, and she screamed as Luca shielded her with his body, taking the bullet in his arm. Pain seared through him, but he didn't stop. He fought like a storm unleashed, his moves precise, merciless. By the time silence returned, the floor was littered with fallen men. Elena rushed to his side, tears streaming down her cheeks. Why would you protect me? You could have run. Luca looked at her weakly, his lips curved in a faint smile. Because you were the first person who saw me as human. Chapter 5. The Choice. That night, he disappeared. The police swarmed the area, and Elena was questioned but said nothing. Days turned to weeks. The estate grew quiet again. Everyone assumed the mysterious man had died or escaped. But one morning, a small envelope appeared under her door. Inside was a note and a silver necklace shaped like a crescent moon. The note read, "Greater than, for the girl who taught a monster how to be human again. Your kindness saved me when bullets couldn't. Follow your dreams, Elena. The world needs more hearts like yours. L." She clutched the necklace to her chest, tears of warmth falling freely. For the first time in her life, she felt seen, not as a servant, but as someone whose small act of compassion changed another's fate. Epilogue. 2 years later. Elena stood in a white coat, a stethoscope around her neck. She had become a nurse, working in a small clinic that helped the poor. Every day, she carried that silver necklace under her uniform, a reminder of a night that changed everything. One evening, as she walked home through the rain, a black car pulled up beside her. The window rolled down. A familiar, deep voice said, "You kept your promise." Her heart stopped. Luca sat inside, older but alive, his eyes no longer cold, but warm. He didn't look like a mafia boss anymore. He looked like a man reborn. She smiled through her tears. "And you kept yours." The car drove off, disappearing into the night, but Elena knew. Kindness had rewritten a man's destiny. And hers too.